My name, Marcie Chapa. I'm originally from Houston, Texas. I was teaching these summer camps. Well, I still do. This is my last year coming up over at Big Sur and Glen Devon Ranch. And I would do these summer camps where it's like you introducing music and nature and you combine their inspiration and motivation. And every summer I was doing that since 2013. And that's how I had the pleasure of meeting Yvette Padilla over here from North County. And as jokingly, she said one day, "Hey, would you ever want to be our band director at our high school?" And I'm like, "Hey, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be," because that's just how my motto is. And then a year later, she called me and was like, "Hey, we have a position coming up. Are you interested?" And my same motto: if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And then I just went for the position, not having any plans. And then I got the job, and that was like reality. Like, oh, am I moving to little small Castroville? I'm big city, Houston, Texas, like big city, grinding, hustling on a day-to-day. And I'm like, small little Castroville. Okay. But I needed a change in my life, and I decided to go with it. And I went, and I think it was probably the best decision I ever made. I mean, I started playing drums, percussion when I was in 6th grade. My mom was like, "You got to be involved. You're not going to be running the streets," because Houston is a big city, but there was a lot of trouble out in the streets. So I joined the band and didn't realize I was going to be good at it. And now drums was just like naturally just easy for me. Now, yes, it has some challenges with things that were more the fundamental stuff that I had to work on, but it came hard, not easy per se, but more like I wanted to learn it. So it was easier in the set, like I was going to learn it because I wanted to. And so that was my motivation. If I couldn't figure something out, I didn't stop until I got it. But that progressed into eventually I got to get to college because of my music. I had a great band director, Jose Diaz from Houston, Texas, who I was lucky to he always brought in professional musicians. And that's what kind of like drove me, seeing those musicians, and they saw me as a female drummer, like, you can do this for a living, you can do this for a living. Because, being from a Mexican household, especially being in the music industry, my mom, she wasn't pushing on that because she didn't know. So she would be like, "Well, I guess you're just going to go to college and or become a secretary and better get married." That was like in her mindset. But she didn't realize that I'm like one of those like, no, I'm not going to be the society, I got to do this, lifestyle. I'm going to do it my way. And I don't like taking no for an answer. And I'm going to do it what I'm supposed to do. And yeah, I know a lot of women are not in this industry, but I'm going to prove everybody wrong. Because I did get a lot of people telling me, "You're not going to be anything better than a $50 a night drummer. You're not going to do anything with your life. You're just going to play drums here at these little dive bars, and that's as far as you're going to go." And that didn't unfortunately, some kids, it brings them down, but that just drove me, and a fire just fueled inside of me. I'm like, no, I'm going to do, and I'm going to prove to you. And I did prove it because I went off to college in New York, and I got to meet all these amazing musicians, and that led to me to play, with likes of, in time, because I did have a little, progression where I went to back to school in Texas, and then I got to meet amazing musicians of Cuban descent, R&B, gospel descent. So I was always around so much music. So I didn't have a day where I didn't have music in my life. But I was always teaching at the same time because I always felt like I needed to always give back. But it led me to work with artists of like Juvenile. He's a hip hop artist from Louisiana. I did stuff. I did a show with Al Jarreau before I even knew how big he was. I was little, I was like in college, and I was like, this guy's supposed to be amazing. He sounds great. Anyhow, and then eventually I auditioned for the all-girl female band for Beyonce, and then I was in that band. And then I did stuff with J-Lo, some Duran Duran, CeeLo Green, Stephanie Mills, and the list goes on with things I've done. And it's been quite the adventure, and I'm so grateful that I had it, because now here I am years later, and I'm the forefront of my students, and I'm having to guide them and show them the way. I give them what I would have wanted as a kid, even though my director was amazing and absolutely great, mentor. Even to this day, he's a great mentor. Times were different then. You couldn't do as much. And now it's like I want kids to see different pathways they can go in, whether it's if they want to be a musician or if they want to be on the back end, handling the camera or handling the mics, handling the management side. I want them to see there's different ways to be involved in music where you just don't have to play an instrument. But I just want my kids to get all the opportunities that I didn't get as a kid. In today's time, you have a little bit more access. And especially from Castroville, if you've ever been to Castroville, you see we do lack the resources. But how do I go out of my out of my element and then reach out to people that I can, as many people as possible, to like, look, these kids are awesome. These kids have so much potential to go further than what they just, what they can do. So what can we do to get them some kind of a little exposure, even if it's just a little moment? It's a memory that they'll have forever. Or some may take it and floor and go with it on their own, and 20 years later, like, thank you, you showed me this thing back in 2024, and here we are in 2030, and I'm doing all this stuff because you guide me. And I don't want the applause from, like, I want them to be like, I did this and I'm happy that I did this. And that's all I want the students to know. Being around this, something about it like grows on you, and then you learn to love it. Because I always hated small towns growing up. And I'm like, I could never live in a small town, ever. And here I am, married with 2 children, and I couldn't live anywhere else. Like, honestly, I love it here, and I'm tied here. I'm invested here, and I never thought I would be invested into this little old town called Castroville. But I am, and these kids but it's because these kids, and certain adults that I connect myself with to make it better. So it takes a village to keep these kids going and moving. And as I say to everybody, well, we're just getting started. Even though all these amazing kids that I'm losing, we're just getting started, because I'm going to find more ways to bring them out. And because they're going to go home to school, they're going to brag about what they did today, and all the other ones are going to be like, wait, how can we do that? Why can't we do that? And I'm going to be like, oh, we will, just in due time. So we're just getting started.
Y vamos a comenzar el juego de música para que se vengan a bailar, vámonos. Y échale ritmo, compa. Miren que llegó, ya está aquí la quebradora. Tiene un cuerpo muy sensual, es buena para bailar. La gente no la deja de mirar. La quebradora tiene un cuerpo muy sensual. La banda le gusta más. Es buena para bailar. No la dejan de mirar. Ya está aquí la quebradora. Tiene un cuerpo muy sensual, es buena para bailar. La gente no la deja de mirar. La quebradora tiene un cuerpo muy sensual. La banda le gusta más. Es buena para bailar. No la dejan de mirar. Y vamos llegando con esto que se llama La Fea. Algo de cumbia, compa. Vamos a bailarle bonito. Muchachos no le dicen nada, es porque ellos ignoran que sabe bailar. Plebilla calmada, no le dicen nada.